got a Joe Bonamassa solo blues jam today. This is in the key of G, so it's G minor pentatonic, and Joe's utilising pretty much all the positions of the minor pentatonic as he usually does. There's a couple of added notes, but there's nothing too much outside of the pentatonic. Let's play it through, and then I'll break it down lick by lick, and I'll talk about which positions it is as I do each lick. Very cool. So he starts off, like I said, it's G minor pentatonic, and it starts off in box 2 of the G minor pentatonic. So the first lick, what I'll do, I'm going to play through, I'm going to put this in like a slower speed so you can see what's going on a bit easier, and I'll do it lick by lick. So the first lick. So the opening lick. So it starts off on the 7th fret of the A string. Now I've heard Joe, so this is box 2, but we're not using a note from the G minor pentatonic. We're going on the 7th fret of the A string isn't in the G minor pentatonic. It's a major note, and it happens to be the major third of our 4 chord. So this is the major third of C, and I've heard Joe in the past talk about how he likes to come in a blues on the 4 chord. So this first lick starts on that 7th fret A string, then it goes to the 5th fret of the D, and then we pull down on the D string, 8th fret, a little quarter tone bend, and then he grabs the G string 5th fret, which is a C note. And then he goes over into box 1 area, and he does a pre-bend on the 2nd fret of the G string. Now this note, this A, is our 9. And he does a pre-bend, so he pushes it up and then releases. And then he grabs the 5th fret of the the 5th fret of the D string, which is your root of the tonic. It's a G note. So it kicks off. Some nice vibrato on that C note. That's the first lick. Now the second lick, it starts off from the same spot, the 7th fret of the A string. So it's starting off again there, and it does the same. It goes 7 to 5. And then it moves over into box 1, which is... So we start 7th fret. You can think of this as also this sort of area like this. It could be, like I said, it can start on the 4 chord from what he said in the past. It's like your C first inversion. There's your C triad. There's your major third on the A string of the 7th. So this second lick, starting on that 7th fret again, over to the 5th fret again on the D, then jumps over into box 1, and we're going to get the minor third with our first finger on the G string, 3rd fret. And whenever Joe gets this minor third, he always gives it a bit of a tweak. And then we go 3rd fret bend, so we do this minor third, little bend, then 5th fret G string, and then back over to that minor third and another little bend. From the beginning. And then we go to the B string, and we do a pull off from the 6th fret to the 3rd. Then straight away 5th fret G, we're going to do a little half step bend up into the blues note. Then straight away pull off from that 5th fret G to the 3rd fret, over to the 5th on the D, and then back to that 3rd fret minor 3rd on the G. So all together that lick. And then into box 2, we're going to slide from the 5th fret G string to the 7th fret, and then we're going to play the 6th fret of the B. And we're going to let them both ring out. So that whole lick one more time, really slow. From the beginning. Next lick. So we go straight into this triad, and it's a G minor triad. So your G minor chord rooted off the 10th fret of the A string, your A minor form, the triad at the top of that is 10th fret high E, 11th fret of the B, and G string 12th fret. So that's a G minor triad. So after this lick up here, so from this lick, these 2 fingers remain on the same string, same position, and then we just put our first finger down on the high E. There's that triad. And then the lick straight after that, where these 2 fingers are our ring and middle on the G and the B string, we can just put our first and second fingers there, and that puts us in, now we're in box 4. So we're right here. So he plays the 12th fret of the G, and then he rocks back and forth from the 11th fret, which is our minor 3rd. So again, always giving this a bit of a tweak, and then going to the 12th fret. Does that 3 times a bend. So start on the 12th fret of the G, push up the 11th, and then we're going to play the 13th. On the 3rd time, I'm going to grab the high E on the 13th fret, that's the flat 7 of G, and then rock that finger right over onto the B and give that a whole step bend with some vibrato. Next lick, so we're going to remain in this position, then we're going to play, so we've finished with this bend, then we'll come back down and play the 13th again, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to be pushing up with the 11th fret on the minor 3rd and playing the 13th fret straight after. And then we'll get to that 3rd time bend. We're going to reach over with our 3rd finger and we're going to do a stack on the 12th fret, G and D strings. Then 10, 12 on the G. And then with our middle finger, we're going to grab the minor 3rd, which is the 11th fret of the B, give it a bit of a tweak. Then first finger, we're going to come back to the 8th fret of the high E. This puts us in box 3, which is, so. And then straight after that, we're going to give it a little bit of a bend on the 11th fret, which is our minor 3rd. And then over to the 8th fret of the B. That's our root. We're going to give that some vibrato. That whole lick, starting from, well, the previous 2 licks. Now the next lick, he comes over into box 2. So he does this cool little move in box 2. So it starts off on the 6th fret of the B string. So we've moved from this root, we come back a whole step, we're on that 6th fret of the B, and we go 6B, 7 on the G, and then we go 6-8 on the B. Then we're going to go to the G string and go 7-5. And then we're going to do a pull off from the 8th fret to the 5th fret of the D. That's a really cool lick and good for transitioning between positions. So let's go from then we'll back into box 1. Start off minor 3rd. So G string, minor 3rd bend. 5th fret G twice. Back to that minor 3rd. Then we're going to do a stack G to D on the 5th. Back to that minor 3rd. So it's all in this position here, always giving that minor 3rd a tweak. And then the last lick, I'm going to break it down into a couple of little pieces. So we've got then we go straight away, pull off on the D string from the 5th to the 3rd, then 5th fret of the A, back to the 3rd fret on the D. Then we're going to use the extension out of box 1, so we're going to slide back with our ring finger, 5th fret to 3rd, 1st fret A, and then we're going to do a stack, 3rd fret A, and then low E. So that's the first part of the lick. I'm going to put it together with this. Go back to that 1st fret, slide up with our 3rd finger, 3rd to 5th, back to the 3rd fret of the D, and then slide back on the same finger, 3rd finger, and then back to the 1st fret, and then that stack again. So that part of the lick is the same as you can see on the tabs. Go 1st fret, A string, 3rd fret low E, and then 1st finger is just going to come from the low E on the 1st fret. I'm going to slide in to the 3rd fret with our 1st finger, and then we're going to grab the minor 3rd, which is 6th fret low E, give it a bend, and then we're going to reach over with our ring finger or our 2nd and grab the root. Got a bit of a rattle on there, I'll do that again. And then finishes off the jam. We bar so we've got the G and the B string, so we can just put a bar on the 3rd fret. I'm going to pick the G and the B, a double stop, and hammer into the 5th fret of the G. Do that twice, and then finish that double stop on the 3rd fret, G and B strings. So I'm going to play through the whole thing really slowly. So with that really slow walkthrough and the tabs, plus you've got the video, you shouldn't have any trouble getting through that. It's nothing too fast. It's a really good use of the G minor pentatonic right across the neck. These jams are really useful and they'll teach you a lot. The more of them you can sort of learn, the better you're going to get around these pentatonics. Any questions, please just put it in the comments, or you can email me. I'm always welcome to help. All right, cheers.